What's up, everybody? I hope all of you are doing well. I am back with a new fragrance release for the year 2025, and it is from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier, and it is the Beau Flower Edition. We're going to be hopping more into the presentation of the fragrance. Also going to be talking about wearability, performance, longevity. Now, I will say with those, there's a little caveat. This is a glorified first impression, so I recently just got this one in. I haven't gave it too many wears, but I can kind of comment on the wears that I've given it so far. And then also going to be going into the most important thing to me is how the darn thing smells, okay? And we're going to be comparing and contrasting it to the rest of the fragrances in the line. There's two of them right there. And then you got the EDT right here. Going to be talking about how this fragrance slots in with the rest of the line there. Now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We make fragrance and fitness content on this channel, and I'd love to have you part of this community. Now, I'll be right back to talk more Beau Flower Edition after this. Before we hop into this review, let me know in the comments down below which is your favorite Beau fragrance in the line. And also, if you smelled Flower Edition, let me know what you think about it. Very curious to hear in the comments what you all think about this new fragrance in the Beau line. Now, let's hop into that presentation. So, I'm going to bring out the can at first that it comes in. This does not come in the box, and all the rest of the fragrances do not come in a box. They come in a can, okay? And you got to be careful with the can because sometimes people I've seen on TikTok and over social media take a can opener and open the top here, which is very interesting. So Jean Paul Gaultier kind of got smart with it and put like a tag and it says pull up. So now you have that pull up tab that pops out at the bottom here so people don't use can openers to open this thing because it is confusing. And even with that pull up tab, it is hard to pull this off. But going to be going into the art a little bit here. I really like that kind of metallic flower going on here. That blue, nice shade of blue. And then at the top gold there. And then the fragrance just sits in here at the bottom there for you all. But yeah, let's get to the bottle now. Here is the bottle. Different as you can tell. Nothing around the junk on this one. It's got the flower up here. The flower is plastic, just so you know. And you got the little pull tab like the rest of the line. I really wish they would kind of up the pull tab down with the elixir. The Le Mans elixir is what I'm trying to say here, is because that one's got a really nice pull tab, but these are kind of easy to break. I have broken these before. But yeah, there's this one here, and then you got like a kind of aqua color juice in this one. And, you know, presentation, you can tell it's a Beau fragrance here. You can tell it's a flanker, so... But before I spray this on my hand, just want to let you know, if you are interested in this fragrance, it is a limited release. And I will say, when Jean Paul Gaultier does do their limited releases, they usually mean it. So sometimes there will be fragrance brands where they say limited release, and it would still be around 2 or 3 years later. So I just wanted to get that out there. Usually when this is limited, it's only around for a few months, and then it's out the door onto the next. So if you want to pick this up or sample it, make sure to go try it out now. Don't wait on this release here, okay? But yeah, let's give it a spray on the arm, and then let's go into how the fragrance smells here. There we go. Good sprayers on these, good atomizers. Shake it off. Alrighty, gonna put this down, and we're gonna go in for a whiff of this bad boy right here. Okay, so when this fragrance opens here, this is going to be a very fresh opening, aquatic, ozonic, and some citrus vibes with it. I'm going to go ahead and throw the notes up on the screen for you all, but in that opening, it's supposed to have kumquat. And I'm not going to lie to everybody, I do not know what kumquat smells like, so I just want to get that out of the way. I'm guessing it smells like this, whatever I sprayed on my hand, that's what kumquat smells like. But in my opinion, this opening is unique in a sense that with other designers and other fragrances in this line, you're not going to get that opening here. This opening is something that I really enjoy, and it's very addicting to me in the opening. When I spray it on, I want to go back for more and more and more. And I guess it's that kumquat note, but you do get some citrus aspects in this opening, along with that freshness, ozonic, and aquatic vibes with this. And I will say, out of all the fragrances in the line, for me, this is the freshest of the bunch, okay? Especially in that opening. And with the opening here, it does pack a punch. It does project pretty well in the opening for a fresh fragrance. It's not something that in 5 minutes is going to sit close to your skin, okay? And that's only in the opening. So you do got a very appealing opening with this scent, I would say. But when this fragrance starts going into that mid, okay, in the mid, this is when that kind of citrusy opening with the freshness is still around, and I will say those ozonic and aquatic tones are throughout the whole fragrance lifespan here. But in that mid, okay, early mid, I would say, this fragrance starts to switch. So in that early mid, it's citrus, aquatic, but as this fragrance is going through its, I guess, lifespan, what you would say, I start getting more green facets to it, okay? I start getting a little green in there. I start getting powderiness. I start getting that tonka bean coming out. What this whole line utilizes is tonka bean. So it starts getting a little powdery, more green, but that freshness is going to be around during the whole fragrance, okay? It kind of takes a back seat for me a little bit. And with that mid, I would say you do get bits and pieces of this one in it. Now, it's just the green kind of facets. It's kind of sprinkled in Flower Edition here, okay? It's kind of sprinkled in. So I do get with that aquaticness from this one into this one here, okay? I do get that. And that is the kind of relation with this one, is that green kind of feel along with Flower Edition. Now, Flower Edition, as this dries down, this kind of really reminds me of the EDT here. And in that mid, in that dry down, what I mean with reminding me of this is if you took away the coconut and you took away a little bit more of that sweetness and you focused on ramping up the freshness, okay? And you want to keep that core DNA still there, but without the coconut. So you ramp up that tonka bean, you ramp up that powderiness. What the line is kind of known for is it's got that sweet tropical vibes. This version here, especially in that mid, in that dry down, is basically a freshened up version of this combined with a little tones of Paradise Garden here. And I think it's a nice kind of change of pace for the line here, because all the fragrances in the line, especially these two, are going to be very tropical, very sweet, coconut heavy. And I mean, even with Paradise Garden here, you're getting a lot of coconut in this one. And I did like the turns that this took and added some fig in here, and I really enjoy this one. This one, of course, made my designer releases when this one came out. So overall, this is something that if you want a fresher take on that Le Beau DNA, you want that sweetness kind of toned back, and you want more focus on the aquatics, the freshness, but you still want a little bit of that sweetness, and you want that kind of Jean Paul Gaultier powderiness, I guess you could say, in a fragrance, because this does remind me of some of those fresher limited releases in the Le Male line here. And overall, this is just a fresher take on the EDT, I would say. Strip out the coconut, more bare bones, more something freshened up, more focused on that kind of aquatic, ozonic, and also the freshness overall with a little green sprinkled in. And then as this fragrance dries down, you're going to get that powder, and you're going to get that powderiness, and you're going to get that tonka as well. So overall, seasons that I would say I would wear this one: spring, summer, early fall. This one would be excellent to pull out and wear. This one, more of a daytime scent for me. More of a daytime scent. I will say, overall, if I want a nighttime scent from the line, this is the one I'm going with, the Le Parfum. And I haven't brought up the Le Parfum much. Let me talk about that a little bit about with Flower Edition. I'll be honest, this one is probably the most far removed from this scent here. Like I mentioned, it kind of closer aligns with the EDT, and I get facets of Paradise Garden. With this one, I don't really get that because this one's focused really on that sweetness, the tropical vibes, and it ramps up all the kind of nuances that are focused on the sweetness. This doesn't really have as much freshness, okay? And that coconut's ramped up in this one as well. So that's why I didn't bring this one up much. I just wanted to include it with the video. Just this is kind of a long distance cousin to this one because it does have the DNA in it, of course. It's a flanker, but this one not really close to this one at all. It's more close to the other two in the line, I would say. But now let's hop into that performance, that longevity, wearability of this fragrance. So for a performance standpoint, if we're talking about if it's beast mode, if it's going to, put a little nice scent cloud around you, all that type of jazz. So how it projects. That's what I want to start out with. This in the opening projects well, but I will say as the fragrance goes through its lifespan here, it's really hard. This one's one you're going to have to put your nose in to smell off your skin. That opening does last and it does project, but it's kind of in that middle of the mid and in that dry down, very close skin scent for me. For a freshie, it does have excellent longevity. For the longevity, I would say 8 to 9 hours off the skin, but very much a skin scent past that 5th or 6th hour for me. I had my dad smell this one. He couldn't really smell it projecting off of me per se, off my skin chemistry. But overall, this one here, it's pleasant. It's very nice smelling. Projection, I'd probably say, like I mentioned, 5 to 6 hours tops, and then it starts getting a very, very faint skin scent. You're going to have to really put your nose in this here. And this is, like I mentioned, very pleasant scent to smell. I do like the kind of unique opening this adds, and then it freshens up the Le Beau DNA. So overall, I'm going to give Flower Edition here a 7.8 out of 10. It does have room to grow. It's currently second because it's the second newest fragrance I smelled in 2025. First one is Bad Boy Elixir, and that one's pretty high up on my list right now. But this one does have room to grow, I will say, and it's something that's, a 7.8 I feel like is valid because in that mid and that dry down, it just doesn't do much for me because I would rather wear personally this one right now. These interchange with me. If you ask me on any day, I'm like, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. So, and even when I'm thinking about wearing a freshened up version of this DNA here, Le Beau, I'm thinking of Paradise Garden here. I know it does have that coconut, it does have that creaminess and stuff, but it does have a lot of freshness in it. It does have that aquaticness in here that overall, kind of suits my taste a little bit more. So, like I mentioned, that one would be more spring and summertime, but I'm thinking of this one in the spring and summertime. So yeah, but definitely people that like their lighter scents and want the Le Beau DNA, definitely check that one out. Get a sample, maybe get a bottle even too. Like I mentioned, it's a limited release. So overall, that is my thoughts over Flower Edition. And I'll be looking forward to what else Jean Paul Gaultier is releasing this year because they got Le Male Elixir Absolute. I know it's coming through the pipeline, so we got to stay tuned for that one. Definitely picking that one up. But yeah, everybody, thank you for joining me throughout the whole video today. And I want you all to stay positive, be true, and keep your health up, okay? And I'll see you in the next video.